In this video, we're going to talk about the fixture table. So that's the spreadsheet on the left-hand side of my window here. To make life a little bit easier, I'm actually going to go and drag this window just so that we can see more of that spreadsheet at a time. And we're not going to talk about everything in here. It is a very vast spreadsheet. You can add a lot of information in, but let's concentrate on some of the important bits. So I've already got some fixtures patched in. We did that in the previous video. But maybe I now need to actually update the address of one of my fixtures. Maybe let's say fixture 40 needs to actually change address. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just type in 40, enter. That's going to then take me down to that fixture number. And then in this field, I can literally edit it just like a spreadsheet. So I'm actually going to go and say that this is on 2.301 and hit enter. So I can really easily start to edit my fixtures addresses in here. If I remove a value, so if I go and get rid of that value, that will actually get rid of the fixture. It has unpatched it completely. So if I wanted to add that back in, I would actually need to go into my fixture library here and find it again. So I'm going to need to go and find that fixture again to be able to add it back in. So to add that back in, I'm going to go and say 40 at, let's put it back to how we had it, so 2.301. So if I get rid of an address, it will disappear. If I set the DMX address to 0, it will still be in my show, but it will be down here noted as not patched. We will not be able to control that fixture right now, but it is still there in the show file. I'm going to go and put that back to 2.301. So as well as our DMX address, I'm just going to scroll up to the top there. We've then got pan and tilt adjustments. So you can see here for our moving lights, our VL800 event washes, I could go and click on there, and these are all of the various pan and tilt adjustments, all of the different combinations of adjustments that you might want to make. If you do need to edit these, very good idea to actually go into live first, move the fixture slightly, so tilt it and pan it, and then make these changes. Otherwise, you're not going to see a lot happening, depending on what adjustments you make. The next option then is our profile column. That is the dimmer profile. So if you click on that, you're going to see lots of different options in here. You can, if you want to, go and edit and create your own custom dimmer profile as well. You can get pretty in depth there. You can also adjust the fixture defaults. So I'm going to go and click on the defaults option for one of my event washes in the defaults column, and that's going to open the default adjustments window. So you can see here all of the parameter defaults, and if I want to, I can go in and edit these if needed. As well as that, though, we can start to go and populate some more kind of user information. We're going to talk about position, purpose and colour. Very useful information to populate. Not only does it keep things nice and labelled, as you know, and you know exactly what everything is, but it will actually also populate some different things in the console, such as the quick select bar. So if you go and enable a selection of fixtures front of house, for example, automatically the quick select bar will create a button for you to select all of your front of house. So that is a very useful thing to be aware of. So let's go and do some examples. Fixtures 1 through to 12, they are my front of house. So I'm going to go and put FOH for front of house. So I could go and say enter, and that's just going to add it in for that one light. But I don't want to repeat that 12 times. That would get very boring. So I'm going to go and edit it. And then I can actually do hold shift and use my down arrow. And that's going to populate that all the way down. So I've got my first 12 fixtures are my front of house. But the purpose of some of these differs depending on what I want it to do. So maybe, for example, I might want to say that 1, 2, and 3 are my stage right fixtures. So I'm going to go and say SR. And then my 4 through to 6 are my stage left. So I'm going to go and edit that. And then these, I'm just going to repeat that as well for these. So again, it's stage right for those ones, and then it's stage left for these ones. And then we need to go and say the colour. So we've got our colour field here, so we can start to define colour of that fixture. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to give it a gel number. So I know that my first 6 fixtures are actually my cools, so I'm going to have LO63 in those. And I'm actually going to go and then bring that down for the first 6. But then I've actually got some warms in my next 6. So for these, I actually know I've got L768. And I'm going to go and bring that down for those fixtures. So filling in the colour has automatically filled in my colour description, but actually I might want to call these cool rather than the gel number. So I could pop that in there instead. I'm going to go and call these my warms. So now I've done that, it's going to very quickly create me a group for all of my cools, all of my warms, all of the stage left, all of the stage right, and a group for all of my front of house. That will all be populated in my quick select bar. And when we go and talk about controlling fixtures later, you'll see how that you can actually use that information in there. We've got an options pull down here, top left, various functions you can do in here. You can swap out fixtures, so maybe you've patched the wrong one and you need to replace it. You can actually also export your patch to a CSV file. That's very useful if you need to print it out or just, you know, have it on a tablet that you might want to walk around with the venue with you or something like that. And you've also got options in here to go and, you know, reset the grid layout and all of that sort of basic user stuff. You can mute the output if you want to. If you go and hit that, that's going to then stop the console from outputting data whilst you make patch changes. And at the top there is a visible columns pull down. So as you can see, there are a lot of columns in here. There's things like just generic data. You can populate that with your own data, whatever you might want it to be, but you might want to go and turn some of those columns off. At the very end here, you can see a handy column for if you've maybe got some older or simple LED fixtures. It will give you a dip switch indicator showing you there your dip switches that you need to set. So that is just some of the options then in here within our fixture table and how you can start to edit this to not only make your life easier in terms of knowing what fixture is which, but actually it's going to save you time in the long run as well, because populating this information will also populate your quick select bars automatically. And we'll talk about how we control them in a future video.